love, commitment, sacrifice. These three elements form the foundation of what we call parenting. But what happens when the traditional triangle of family life becomes reshaped? When one parent shoulders what was designed to be carried by two? I want to ask you something. When you picture a single mother, what image comes to mind? Is it one of struggle, of heroism, of pity, or perhaps something else entirely? The truth about being a single mother doesn't fit neatly into any one narrative. It's not just a story of hardship, though there are struggles. It's not just a tale of empowerment, though there is strength. And it's certainly not a simple choice between victimhood and triumph. Today, I want to take you beyond the stereotypes, beyond the statistics, and into the multifaceted reality of single motherhood, a reality experienced by over 15 million women in America alone, yet so often misunderstood by society at large. What makes a complete parent? Traditional wisdom suggests that parenting requires three core components: emotional connection, practical commitment, and personal sacrifice. When these three elements come together in balance, they create what psychologists would call the complete parenting experience. In the conventional two-parent family, these responsibilities are often shared, distributed, and balanced between partners. But for the single mother, this triangle of parenting doesn't disappear, it transforms. The single mother doesn't parent with half a triangle, she expands her own capacity to encompass the whole. Let's break down how this transformation actually works in real life. The emotional bond between parent and child is perhaps the most visible aspect of parenthood. It's the love, the connection, the deep understanding that forms between mother and child. For the single mother, this emotional bond often becomes intensified. Without a partner to share in the emotional labor of parenting, single mothers often develop particularly deep and nuanced relationships with their children. Research has consistently shown that children of single mothers frequently report exceptionally close relationships with their mothers, relationships characterized by high levels of trust, communication, and emotional intelligence. Sarah, a single mother of two from Denver, told me, "There's no buffer between my children and me. Everything I feel, they feel. Everything they experience, I experience. It's raw and it's real in a way I don't think I would have achieved otherwise." This intensity of connection brings both challenges and profound rewards. The emotional bond becomes not just a component of parenting, but a vital lifeline for both mother and child. Commitment in parenting manifests as reliability, consistency, and presence. It's about showing up day after day, night after night. And for the single mother, this commitment is often tested to extraordinary degrees. Consider the logistics. There is no tag team parenting, no your turn to handle the sick child, no sharing of school runs or doctor's appointments. Every commitment falls on one set of shoulders. This level of commitment requires what psychologists call consolidated responsibility, the ability to fulfill multiple roles simultaneously without fragmentation. It demands presence of mind and body in ways that can be exhausting, but also deeply formative. Jessica, a single mother of three in Chicago, describes it like this: "I'm not just wearing multiple hats. I've become the hat factory. Mom, dad, provider, protector, nurturer, boundary setter. I don't switch between roles. I've had to learn to be all things at once." This isn't just about time management, it's about identity integration at a profound level. The single mother's commitment isn't part-time or conditional, it's absolute, and that transforms not just her parenting, but her entire sense of self. Perhaps the most misunderstood aspect of single motherhood is the element of sacrifice and choice. Some single mothers actively chose this path, whether through adoption, donor conception, or the decision to leave unhealthy relationships. Others found themselves on this journey through circumstances beyond their control, widowhood, abandonment, or betrayal. But regardless of how the journey began, all single mothers face daily decisions that involve profound sacrifice. Financial sacrifices are often the most visible, working multiple jobs, forgoing personal luxuries, stretching budgets beyond what seems possible. But the deeper sacrifices are less visible. The postponed dreams, the reduced personal time, the nights spent questioning and second-guessing every decision. Michelle, who raised her daughter alone after her husband died, shared, "I haven't bought new clothes for myself in 3 years. That's the easy sacrifice. The hard one is wondering every night if I made the right choice in how I responded to my daughter's challenges that day. There's no one to confer with, no one to reassure me. The weight of being the only decision maker is the real sacrifice." Yet, remarkably, when researchers interview single mothers about these sacrifices, many report that they don't experience them primarily as deprivation, but as profound acts of love, conscious choices that affirm their values and priorities. When all three components, emotional connection, practical commitment, and personal sacrifice come together in the life of a single mother, something remarkable happens. We see what could be called consummate parenting, a form of parenting characterized by extraordinary integration and authenticity. These mothers don't compartmentalize their experiences. They don't reserve emotion for one moment and practicality for another. Instead, they develop a uniquely holistic approach to parenthood, where love, action, and sacrifice become indistinguishable from one another. Alicia, who has raised twins on her own for 12 years, explains, "I don't think about whether I'm being loving or practical or sacrificial in any given moment. I'm just responding to what's needed. The categories blur. Making lunches at midnight isn't just practical, it's love in action. Setting boundaries isn't just discipline, it's a sacrifice of immediate harmony for long-term well-being." This integration doesn't happen overnight. Most single mothers describe a journey, often years long, of developing this capacity for integrated parenting. No discussion of single motherhood would be complete without addressing the societal context in which it occurs. Single mothers parent not just within their homes, but within communities and cultures that often misunderstand their reality. Let's address some of the most pervasive misconceptions. Misconception 1. Single motherhood is always a result of poor choices. The reality is far more complex. Single motherhood results from countless different scenarios: divorce from abusive partners, widowhood, adoption by choice, fleeing domestic violence, or simply the preference to parent independently, rather than in unhealthy relationships. Even when single motherhood begins with what might be seen as a mistake, the subsequent journey is one of continual choices, most often choices characterized by courage, resilience, and profound responsibility. Misconception 2. Children of single mothers are inevitably disadvantaged. Research paints a much more nuanced picture. While economic hardship does statistically affect more single mother households, studies controlling for income show that children raised by capable single mothers demonstrate remarkable resilience, independence, and emotional intelligence. In fact, children raised by healthy single mothers often develop particularly strong capacities for empathy, responsibility, and adaptability, all traits highly valued in our changing world. Misconception 3. Single motherhood is a temporary state before finding a partner. For many women, single motherhood is not a waiting room for a complete family, but a complete family experience in itself. The assumption that all single mothers are seeking partners not only dismisses their autonomy, but fails to recognize the intentionality with which many women approach single parenthood. Single motherhood, like any significant life journey, often unfolds through distinct phases. Understanding these phases can help both single mothers and those who care about them navigate the terrain more effectively. Phase 1. Transition and adaptation. Whether through divorce, death, birth as a single woman, or any other circumstance, the initial transition into single motherhood typically involves a period of intense adaptation. During this phase, practical considerations often dominate, establishing new routines, securing financial stability, and creating systems that work for the new family structure. Emotionally, this phase can involve grief, even when the transition is chosen, anxiety, and a steep learning curve. Identity reconstruction is common as women navigate who they are as solo parents. Phase 2, stabilization and new normal. As systems and routines become established, many single mothers enter a phase of relative stability. The shock of the transition fades, and a new normal emerges. During this phase, many women report developing increased confidence in their parenting decisions and greater clarity about their priorities. This is often when supportive communities become particularly important, not for crisis management, but for sustainable support. Many single mothers describe this as the phase when they begin to develop their unique parenting philosophy rather than simply reacting to circumstances. Phase 3, thriving and transcendence. With time and experience, many single mothers move beyond mere coping or stability into what could be called a transcendent phase of parenting. This phase is characterized by a deep integration of the practical and emotional aspects of parenting, a strong sense of purpose, and often a desire to support other parents. In this phase, many single mothers report that the distinction between difficulty and reward begins to blur. The challenges remain real, but they're experienced within a framework of meaning and purpose that transforms their significance. As Maria, who has raised 3 children on her own for 15 years, puts it, "I wouldn't say it gets easier exactly, but you get stronger, clearer, more certain of what matters. The weight doesn't disappear, but your capacity to carry it transforms." If you're watching this as someone who knows and cares about a single mother, you might be wondering what actually helps, what makes a difference. Based on extensive research and conversations with hundreds of single mothers, I want to offer some concrete insights. Number 1, practical support with dignity. Single mothers consistently report that practical support, childcare, meals, household help, makes an enormous difference. But equally important is how this support is offered. Support that preserves dignity and agency helps. Support that comes with judgment or pity harms. The most effective support recognizes the single mother's competence while acknowledging her limited bandwidth. It doesn't try to rescue her, but partners with her. 2, economic justice, not just charity. While immediate financial assistance can be crucial, what single mother families need most is economic justice, fair wages, affordable housing, accessible healthcare, and educational opportunities. The most supportive communities work to address systemic barriers, not just individual emergencies. 3, representation and validation. Single mothers need to see themselves represented in media, leadership, and community life, not as objects of pity or extraordinary exceptions, but as normal, valuable contributors. Validation of their family structure as legitimate and complete makes a profound difference in both maternal and child well-being. 4, community, not just services. Programs and services matter, but what transforms lives most powerfully is genuine community, relationships characterized by mutuality, respect, and belonging. Single mothers don't just need help, they need connection. Now I want to share something that doesn't get enough attention: the perspective of children raised by single mothers. I've had the privilege of interviewing dozens of adults who grew up in single mother households, and their insights are both surprising and illuminating. Insight 1. Witnessing resilience builds resilience. Children who watch their mothers navigate single parenthood with courage and determination often develop extraordinary resilience themselves. They learn firsthand that challenges can be overcome, that humans can adapt to difficult circumstances, and that strength often emerges from struggle. James, now 32, reflects, "Watching my mom figure it out day after day, year after year, that shaped me more than anything else. I never doubt my ability to handle whatever comes because I saw her do it, without a manual, making it up as she went along." Insight 2. Direct communication becomes normal. Many adults raised by single mothers report growing up with unusually direct, honest communication patterns. Without the buffer of another adult, single mothers often develop more straightforward communication with their children, explaining financial limitations clearly, discussing emotional challenges openly, and involving children appropriately in family decisions. This transparency, when handled age-appropriately, often results in children with high emotional intelligence and strong communication skills. Insight 3. Independence develops early. Children in single-mother households frequently take on responsibilities earlier than their peers in two-parent homes. While this requires careful balance to avoid inappropriate burdens, many adult children of single mothers cite this early independence as a significant advantage in their adult lives. How do we measure success in single motherhood? Too often we default to comparisons with two-parent families, using them as the standard against which single mother families are judged. This approach fails to recognize the unique strengths and values that emerge in different family structures. A more meaningful approach focuses on core well-being metrics. Are both mother and children emotionally healthy? 2. Is there financial stability, not necessarily affluence? 3. Do family members feel connected and valued? 4. Is there room for growth and joy alongside responsibility? When we use these metrics rather than conformity to conventional family structures, we discover something remarkable. Many single-mother families are extraordinarily successful, not despite their structure but sometimes because of the unique strengths it develops. As we look to the future, several trends suggest that the experience of single motherhood will continue to evolve. 1. Increasing chosen single motherhood. More women are choosing single motherhood proactively rather than reactively, using adoption or reproductive technologies to become mothers on their own terms. 2. Evolving support structures. Co-housing, shared childcare cooperatives, and other innovative support structures are emerging to create community around single-parent families. 3. Remote work opportunities. The expansion of remote work options is creating new possibilities for work-life integration that particularly benefit single parents. 4. Changing narratives. As more children raised by single mothers enter leadership and creative roles, the narrative around single motherhood is slowly shifting from deficit-based to strength-based. The truth about being a single mother is that there is no single truth. There are millions of stories, each unique, each valid. What unites these stories is not circumstance, but capacity, the remarkable human capacity to love, commit, and adapt despite challenges. If you are a single mother watching this, I want you to know your family is not incomplete. It is not a lesser version of some idealized structure. It is whole and real and valuable exactly as it is. If you love someone who is a single mother, I encourage you to see her, really see her, not through the lens of lack or need, but through appreciation for the complete parent she has become. And if you're simply curious about the reality of single motherhood, I hope this has expanded your understanding beyond statistics and stereotypes to the complex, beautiful truth of women raising children with extraordinary love and commitment. The triangle of parenting doesn't disappear in single motherhood. It transforms, and in that transformation something profound emerges, something that deserves not our pity, but our deepest respect. Thank you for listening. I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Whether you're a single mother yourself, were raised by one, or simply care about this topic, your perspective matters to this conversation. Don't forget to subscribe for more content exploring the complex realities of modern family life. Until next time, remember, the strongest families aren't defined by their structure, but by the love that holds them together.